fan. We're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
What are you wearing?
A Canadian tuxedo. And I'm a hockey player. Let's go Blues!
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues!
Presented by Scott Credit Union. Yours, St. Louis.
BlueNote Fan Report. Aloha and mahalo. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the BlueNote Fan Report just before the NHL All-Star break. Yes, there are no games today as we are on break. Tomorrow is the skills competition. Vladimir Tarasenko will be taking part in the accuracy contest. That's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait. Fish says, or Ryan Green, I can't believe it, guy. I found someone with a longer intro than you. There's a 10-minute of We'll Be Live in just a moment. Berube blinders. Yes. I think that the majority of Blues fans are wearing Berube blinders. Right? And you ask the majority of fans right now, who's at fault for this team, they will tell you Armstrong. They will tell you Armstrong. They will put everything on Armstrong. Look, players are not playing up to their potential. I agree with that. That is on the players. There is something on the players. It is up to the coach. It is up to the coach to coach the players he has in front of him. If you have a guy that is not very good defensively, and you keep trying to make him defensive, that's on you. Let him figure out a way to get him to work into the system right. Sorry, it is the coaching. It's absolutely. Look at what happened in the last game. What did we do? We went into a fucking prevent defense. And it happens every time we get a 2-goal lead. This has happened time and time again. Time and time again, no matter what players we have, we go into a prevent defense, 2-goal lead. Right? Ah, shit. I'm banging on my thing so much I knocked the batteries out of my mouse. No, you guys want to sit there and player this, player that, player this, player that. So if it's the players, that means we don't have the fucking talent. Yeah, I'm a little aggravated. I saw some things today from Blues Views and a few others, and nobody wants to put any blame on Berube. You know what? Here's the thing. I sent you a link, Wendy. Here's the thing, Robert. That's on Petro. That's on Petro. Think about this. The only thing you got different in Vegas was a no movement clause. You guys going to get a modified one here. He never wanted to sign here. That was all a ruse. That was all a ruse. Perron was all a ruse. Vladdy, not happy here. Is he not happy here because of Armstrong? No. Okay, well, I thought I did. He's not happy here because of frickin' Berube. No, I didn't, dumbass. It's because I found that quote from Rutherford. See if I can go back to it. Yeah, I want to show this. Right? And I think everyone is misreading this quote. Absolutely fucking misreading this quote. No Shockey today. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I seen it. No, I mean, he didn't get much of a different deal. No, we're not keeping Tank. We're not. Well, he's going on his own, and I want to show this. I want to show this comment, right? And when you see this, you're going to read that. Most people, I think, are reading this completely wrong, right? I mean, completely wrong. Okay, so here's the comment today. Oops. Man, I can't get, okay. I spoke to Vladimir Tarasenko and asked if he thought about the NHL All-Star Game and the last time he represents the Blues on the big stage. Tarasenko, yes, obviously yes. Because even Vladdy don't know the future of Vladdy. There is only one guy who knows more than me. His name is Doug Armstrong. I think that's a guy who you should talk about my future with the Blues. Now, the majority of the people reading this, you know what? That's why I'm so fired up, because of that article that you sent me. It was total trash. Total trash. Blues Views, I'm sorry. I want them on the show, but I'm going to tear them apart. Because they're buying into the media and not thinking for themselves. Right? What I'm trying to get at here, right? Read that. Read that and read it carefully. There's some really big things in there. Right? If it's up to Armstrong about Vladdy's future with the Blues, the trade's off the table. The trade is absolutely off the table. Vladdy wants a contract. Oh my goodness, if you don't read that, has Vladdy wants a contract? And you don't read it that way because, oh my God, Vladdy doesn't want to be here. Vladdy asked for a trade. Vladdy wants to go. Vladdy wants to go. That's not what he's saying. Oh my God. That's the exact opposite of what he's saying. It's the exact opposite. He wants to stay here. It's up to Armstrong to sign him. That's what he's saying. And there haven't been any talks. Lance was right about that. Right? The issue with the St. Louis Blues, I'm sorry, I'm asking one of you guys that believes it's all in the players to not be in the chat room, to come on the show and debate with me. Because right now, you can't convince me that this is on the players. We have way too good a talent. Uh-oh. Well, I guess...
That's why you don't want to play.
There we go.
Yeah, I got it away from her.
Yeah, that's better. So again, we got Ryan Green. Coaching is fine. Players are trash. I don't agree with that.
Hockey crazy right now.
I don't agree with that at all.
I just put it up there. If it's one or two, three players messing up, it's the players. But it's the whole team. It's the coach.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I agree with that. Darkness says the players are struggling. Why? Because the coach isn't putting them in the situation to thrive. That's exactly what I've been saying. That's exactly what I've been saying. Blues Views had a thing coming up. Blues Views had this little article, snippet of an article, right? Hey, man, I'm getting a lot of... can you mute your mic? Is that when you're talking? You know how to do that? No, here we go. I'm going to mute your mic. When you're ready to talk, give me a thumbs up and I'll unmute you. I'm getting a lot of outside noise, so I've muted you from there. That's better.
That's unmute.
Okay, yeah, that's a little better. Oh no, now you're not muted. Yeah,
So-
can you turn the TV down just a little bit more?
I'll just mute it.
Yeah, because your mic's picking it up really, really heavy. Okay, Marianne's telling me to look at my messages. I'll get there, Marianne. I have everybody.
So that article by O'Reilly, is that setting up everyone blaming Armstrong for trading him too, or not signing him when we know
they will.
We know he's been pissed off about no contract since the start of the season.
And that to me kind of bugs me a little bit. Right? That bugs me. In fact, it bugs me a lot. Okay? I did, Wendy. I know I did. Hold on, Wendy. Yeah, it's there. No, I sent. Maybe I sent it to Blues Views instead of Wendy.
You sent it to me.
Yeah, I know. There we go. There we go. Okay. Finally got it to him. No, here we go. I know. Well, Ashley, are you on the player train or the Berube train?
I'm on the player train, I guess.
So you believe that it's the players' fault as bad as we've been this year?
It's partially their fault, yes. I mean, I feel that there's enough blame to go around, so it's really hard to say who I feel is the most wrong, but players aren't on the same page. They're not cohesive. The coach is not helping the matter to make them cohesive. Armstrong isn't doing anything about anything, so it's all parties involved.
Okay, I'm not sure about Armstrong not doing anything because I think he's kind of handcuffed a little bit. The one thing that he can do, I think he has way too much pride to do. Right?
Yeah.
There we go. We got Nick. So we got a full belly here. Nick, we got a good topic today. What's wrong with St. Louis Blues? Where is the blame? Right? And Blues Views put a thing out today, and they talked about Petro leaving and the Blues not resigning him, and that's one of the reasons why this team went downhill, and that Krug has been this horrible signing. Well, first of all, I don't think Krug's been a horrible signing. I think Krug was a great signing. Second of all, there's something that a lot of people don't realize. The deal that Petro got with Vegas is not that much different than the deal he was offered in St. Louis. He didn't get this huge pay increase. He didn't get this huge thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that the no movement clause, and you guys can argue with me, and I'll shut up here after I say that. I think that was a ploy, knowing that Armstrong would not give him one so he could sign elsewhere and it not look bad on him with the fans. Wendy?
I can see where you're coming from. I could see it being on three sides of the party where it involves front office, agent, and player. It could be all three parties involved, but I would most likely put the front office at blame for more asset management to their team.
Okay, that's fair from your point of view, but I'm not buying it yet. What do you think, Chris?
Well, Petro 2 years ago said he was ready to move on after the Cup, and he said, I'm ready for a new adventure. So I don't think we were keeping him anyway.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Ashley?
I'm with you.
But that's asset management. You could have traded him and got something for him.
But here's the thing. He was negotiating with them at the time.
He may have been, but it seemed like St. Louis was still at a standstill. They could have still traded him.
But he's negotiating. Okay, he's negotiating. Do you want to get traded? Do you want to sign? Well, let's just. I think I want to keep negotiating. When in all actuality he didn't. So some of this now. We go, and I talked about this a couple of times. You look at Armstrong, and he has a huge thing where he does not trade guys just because of the contract coming up. In fact, we had to go all the way back to 15, 16, 16, 17 to find guys traded that had contracts coming up. And the two had asterisks next to them. The last guy that the Blues traded that was on a contract was Stastny. And the thing with Stastny being traded, he was not going to be re-signed in St. Louis. There was no chance whatsoever of him being re-signed in St. Louis. He did not have a good time here. Staff wasn't, front office wasn't happy. Coach wasn't happy with him. None of the coaches were happy with him. So there was no, fan base wasn't even happy with him. So there was no chance of him being signed here. Then you go back one more year and you have Shattenkirk. And Shattenkirk made it clear that while he loved playing in St. Louis, he had always hoped to play for his hometown Rangers. That he was going to explore free agency to go to the Rangers. You can't find anywhere else where somebody was traded just because they were up. If the Blues thought they had a chance at signing them, they didn't trade them.
Here's the thing. That year after the Cup, we had a chance. Jabo went down late in the year. We still had a chance. COVID happened.
Yeah.
So Petro probably believed he tried to stay that year because he thought we still had a chance for a repeat. And the next, after that year was done, he was done. Yeah.
Marianne says, no, now Marianne says this, and this one kind of ticks me out. Marianne says there are players who are pissed over the contract with the kids. Okay, any player that is pissed over their contracts needs to go back and look. What contract did Petro get at age 23? What contract did Tarasenko get at age 23? They got basically the exact same contracts adjusted for inflation. They got the same contracts. This is what Armstrong does. He finds the guys that are going to be his core, and he locks them up before they get too expensive. That's what he did with Tarasenko. That's what he did with Pietrangelo. So if you're pissed about that, that's on you, and you shouldn't be because it's been shown before.
Well, what you shouldn't be and what actually happens sometimes are two different things. There are things that can, stir up jealousy, which is hard to hide because jealousy is ugly, but it can happen.
I don't think Ryan was pissed about their contracts. I think he's just mad that they got it before he got signed.
And that's possible. But to me, see, here's the thing with O'Reilly. There's a big difference between guys that are 23 and guys that are 30, 31, 32. Big difference. Right?
Well, that isn't being jealous about the contract size. That's being jealous that they felt that they needed to lock them down before they locked him down.
And that might be it, but I would have rather got them locked in so I knew how much money I had afterwards instead of locking O'Reilly in and then not having the money to lock one of those two in that I really wanted. Right? I think that's a bigger deal. I think that the right move was to lock those guys in now before somebody else came along and stole them away. You lock them down now, and then you find out what money you got and deal with it from there. Now, I do think Armstrong thought the cap was going to go up more than $1 million next year. So we might have a tough year next year with the cap. But at the same time, neither O'Reilly or Tarasenko at this moment, especially this year's play, is worth the 7.5 that they're getting now. So they're not worth pay raises to me. The only way I could see Tarasenko getting a pay raise is if he takes a 2-year contract. If he takes a 2-year contract, I could see him getting 8.5 per. But if he wants a longer term, he's not going to get the 7.5. I don't see it. O'Reilly's not going to get that. O'Reilly, to me, is a $5 million player or less right now for 3 years. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Agree, disagree?
I see Ryan could get 6 from somewhere else, but yeah, if he really wants to stay here, he's a 5, maybe 5.2.
I mean, that's what an outsider's opinion is from, our point of view. But to Ryan O'Reilly, he's worth 9.
Not getting it.
I get that, but you have to understand that this is what's going on in their psyche, what
Yeah,
they
I get
think,
that.
what they feel. So we can speculate all we want, but that doesn't say how they feel about themselves.
Yeah. So did you guys see this quote from Tarasenko today?
No.
Okay, let me put it up.
Okay.
Sorry, Wendy, didn't mean to put that up there, bud.
No, it's all right. It's just asking for the link, so it's not like
Yeah.
it.
I think I had it up earlier. I got to go to Rutherford. There we go. Rutherford spoke to Tarasenko today, and I read this quote earlier, and I want you guys to read this. I guess he's got an article out about it. Here it is, right? I just spoke to Vladimir Tarasenko. Oh, no, let me... Is it showing on the screen? Can you guys see it?
Yeah, it's showing.
It's
Okay,
showing, but I
I just
can't read
spoke-
it.
Say again?
It's showing, but I can't read it.
Any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I just spoke to Vladimir Tarasenko and asked if he thought about the NHL All-Star game being the last time he represents the Blues on the big stage. Tarasenko, yes, obviously yes, because even Vladdy don't know the future of Vladdy. There's only one guy who knows more than me, and his name is Doug Armstrong. I think that's the guy who you should talk to about my future with the Blues. Asked if there's been any talks with Armstrong. Tarasenko replied, not lately. Now, the majority of the people are reading that as Tarasenko wants traded. I'm reading the exact opposite out of that. I mean the exact opposite out of that. And the reason I'm reading the exact opposite out of that is because if he wanted to, he holds the cards to a trade. I'll go to these teams, trade me. To quote Barrett, Yvonne Barrett from Slapshot, trade me right fucking now. That's not what he's saying. He's saying he wants a contract and it's up to Armstrong to give it to him. That's exactly what that quote's saying. I've heard people say, oh, Vladdy's shown that he wants out of here. You know what? A guy that wants out of here doesn't block a shot with his wrist, get it broken, and then come back 2 weeks early. A guy that wants out of here, A, doesn't block the shot, or B, when he does block the shot, milks the recovery.
Berube tried to make it sound like he was trying to milk the recovery. That one statement he made.
Yeah, he did. He did a couple of times, right? He tried to make it sound like it. Oh, it's up to Vladdy when he comes back. Vladdy told him it can't do. The battle's been the boards. He could do everything else, but every time he got in the boards on his wrist, he said he couldn't do it. Uh-oh, Vegas fan disagrees with me. Well, thank you, Vegas. You're more than welcome, and we appreciate I want to hear what you guys think, okay? I really, really do. I'm trying to get all your comments as we go on. Guy looks at everything the exact opposite of everything. Here's the Tarasenko has all the cards rant. Am I wrong?
You see, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. The fact that he hasn't had talks with Armstrong lately shows me that he's not pushing to be traded. There isn't any real push to move him. But it also didn't sound overwhelmingly like he wanted to stay, like he's seeking to stay. That's where he wants to be. He's kind of just like, we'll see what happens.
I see that, but at the point, the thing with me is if he did not want to be here, saying that it was up to Armstrong, he wouldn't have said that. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. Saying that it's up to Armstrong to me means that he wants to be here.
It means that he's open to the possibility of staying, but it doesn't mean that he overwhelmingly wants to be here.
Fair point. Man, don't you love all this drama with the Blues there, Nick?
I mean, it's better than seeing how stuff's going on in Chicago because there's more of a picture what's happening with what's going on in Chicago.
Speaking of,
I still can't think that they. Here we go. So Vegas says I think he wants to be traded, but Armstrong is only going to trade him if the deal benefits the Blues. Okay, Vegas. I got to tell you, I had a personal conversation with Tarasenko, a personal conversation a little over a year ago. And I can tell you that the way that came out through the media was not right. It was not right. I'll tell you what. There are there's four. Actually, there's 5 members of the Blues media right now. I don't remember the name of the 5th guy. He just started because I think Tom Timmerman is kind of going to go away from the Blues and go more towards soccer. Right? So they brought in a guy from Dallas, and I forget his name. New young guy. I met him. I met him when on my birthday, but I don't remember his name. But the major media guys are Jim Thomas, Lou Corick, Jeremy Rutherford, Tom Timmerman, and this new guy with this new guy replacing Timmerman. Now, of those 3, I think one reports fairly and non-negatively, right? The other 2, to me, constantly report negativity as if it's the only thing that they need to report. And I'm sure I don't need to say the names. I think you know who I'm talking about. I don't want to call anybody out. But when I read these tweets and when I read this tweet from Vladdy, I can see how that could get spun negatively. Gordon's not a primary Blues. Gordon's more of a all-around guy. He's not on the Blues beat. He's not at the practices. He's not there all the time. So that's why I don't count Gordon, Vegas. He's more like and I can't think of the 2 guys that just joined the Blues in 18, 19, one from Colorado, and I forget where the other one. They have the same first name. I had them both on the show once. He's more like a columnist, right? I can't think of the name of the 2 guys that I'm thinking of right off the top of my head. But hi, Gloria. How are you doing? To me, Tarasenko has done. Wendy, you're much better at knowing players and player. Think of the last 5 or 6 players, and I'm sure you can come up with it, in the last 5 or 6 years that have wanted traded and proved it on the ice. Just went out there and dogged it on the ice or caused problems in the media. I can think of 2 right off the top of my head.
Pierre-Luc Dubois, Patrick
There's one.
Laine.
There's one of the 2. Jack Eichel.
I mean, maybe Taylor Hall at one point. When he was with the Devils, he wanted out, so he played.
Yeah, Taylor Hall.
Matt Duchene, when he was with the Avalanche going over to Ottawa, then he did it with Ottawa.
When a player once traded, they stop playing. Almost 90% of the time. Am I right? Wendy, you're much better with following that than I am.
Yeah.
But to me, the eye test tells me that when a player wants out, they prove it. They force it. In fact, I can think of a St. Louis situation where a player did that. You got to go way back, and it's a big player. I want to see if somebody can figure this out. We had a player, and you got to go way back, big time, big name player that wanted out over contract negotiations and basically quit playing until he got traded.
Demetra?
No.
Hall?
Close. Connected to Hall.
Oates.
Adam Oates. Adam Oates got to the point where now I put some of this on Oates. He kept renegotiating his contract, but at the same time, the Blues kept giving bigger and bigger contracts to guys that had half the points that Oates had. Right? Oates finally said, you know what? I'm done. You don't want to renegotiate, trade me. And then he just basically, he wouldn't even pass the puck to Hull until they traded him. Read the book Blues Fire. I have a copy of it somewhere. It's about the 92-93 season. Absolutely outstanding book if you ever read it, and it goes in depth into that. It was written by a KMOB4 reporter who went on with the Blues on, followed them every game and covers all of that. It was a great book. But that's what happens. Guys that say they want traded don't play like Tarasenko. They don't lead their teams in points. They don't come back from injury early. They don't block shots with parts of their bodies that can get hurt. Yes, I have a Tarasenko love affair, but I'm telling you, I'm taking my Tarasenko blinders off and going, this is what I see. Am I wrong?
You're not taking your Tarasenko blinders off, sorry.
Okay, well, that's why I'm asking. Why do you think I'm not?
I mean, I don't necessarily feel that you're wrong. I just think that you're over the top. I really think that there's more of a indifference on his part than you're seeing.
And it's possible. It is possible. I'm not gonna go there.
I won't say that it's that he doesn't want to be here. It's that he kind of wants us, like the fans, the team, the coaches, to show that we want him here.
Well, he's getting that from the majority of the fans.
Yeah. But he's not necessarily getting it from the coaching staff or army.
Yeah. Right? Well, see, this is the thing. Right there. They want some more scoring from Vladdy. Well, you know what? Stop playing a defensive system that doesn't count on goals. That's the issue right now. We are playing a completely defensive system that says score a goal, stop them from scoring. And it doesn't work. What the NHL, you know what? Most leagues are copycat leagues. The NHL is one. You know what? I disagree. I think everyone says he's invisible a lot of times, but he's not. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's trying to get open. I don't think he's invisible.
I don't think that he's invisible. I thought that he came back and the first 2-3 games back looked strong. Even with the fact that his wrist doesn't seem to be 100%, so he's not getting his wrister off very well. Yeah. He's still making an effort. He was still putting the puck on the net with like 4, 5, 6 attempts each game. So I don't think he's invisible. He's just not producing the way that anyone would want. But the Blues have lost 5 in a row, so the team as a whole isn't producing.
No, the team is not. He stands around a lot. Well, you know who else? I can name you somebody else who stands around a lot.
Ovechkin. Who
stood around a lot. I mean, a lot.
He's a winger.
Huh?
He's a winger. We stand around, Vladdy.
Yeah.
We stand around a lot. We have to be in a certain position. You get out of position, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right? Who is a player that you can think of, a top-notch player that stands around, that stood around, he's no longer in the league, obviously, he's a Hall of Famer, stood around a lot and scored a hell of a lot?
Hall.
Do you know what they used to call, do you know what Nick Hull's nickname was for a couple of seasons? Blue Line.
Mm-hmm.
You know why it was Blue Line? Because puck would be in the defensive zone, Hull would get to the circle, top of the circle, spin back, go to the blue line, and start skating in a circle. Right? He would skate, he'd skate in a circle at the blue line, waiting for someone to steal the puck to get it to him so he could take off down. They called, Hull, I think some did call him lazy, but for the most part, they didn't. Vladdy has done... my thing with Vladdy is what the way the media came out with this whole trade thing, it rubbed me wrong from the get-go, and I think that put me more in Vladdy's corner. That and having 10 90-1 jerseys and a signed one probably didn't help either.
You see, I'm not disagreeing with you because it's exactly what happened when you were so hard on Bennington. I had to defend him. I get it. I get it.
But I fell back. I started paying attention to Bennington and saying, this season I have been this is not Bennington. Right now, one of the Blues views, one of the three things they brought up, how we're so far off from last year, and we are. One of the three things they brought up was no Husso as a 1-2 punch. Husso here would have just as shitty numbers as Bennington and Grice have.
Probably worse.
Yeah, right? You look at Grice's and Bennington's numbers, they're almost equal. When goalies' numbers are equal, you put that on the team defense, not the goaltender. Well, you know what, Ryan Green? Tough. What do you want me to?
Here's another.
What do you want
thing.
me to do? Go ahead, Shock.
Here's another thing. I'm tired of them acting like they're Brett Favre and trying to pass into triple coverage. When there's three guys on one guy and they pass it to that one guy instead of the two other open guys on the other side of the boards. It's like, really? We're not Tom Brady. We're more like Tony Romo here.
I never felt vindicated in my life as I did on my birthday. I was sitting in the press box at Centene, right? If you've been in the NHL rink when you go into the rink on the right-hand side where the bleachers are, right? At the very top of that, they have a little press area set up. I got up in there. I was up there with Darren Pang, Tom Timmerman, Lou Korick, I can't think of the other guy's name now. My buddy, Jim Thomas, right? And we're talking, and me, Jim, and Pang are talking, and I said, you know what? If you wanted to fix the Blues right now, the area to fix, the thing that they could do the most to fix the Blues is between that blue line and that blue line. If they figured out how to play in the neutral zone and get the puck through the neutral zone with speed and not hitting guys going south or standing still, this team would have 10 more wins. And Panger looked at me and said, you're absolutely right. Okay. With that being said, with that conversation that I had, now I know you got to take it with a grain of salt because Panger's out here to say, you got to believe what I'm saying. But taking that's the conversation and I'm telling the truth, how do you put it on the players now? How long have we been complaining about the neutral zone? That wasn't rhetorical.
It's been long enough that you realize this is a coaching style, the coaching staff telling the players to do. Who Lance was talking about the guy sitting behind Berube. Berube's yelling, "Dump the puck." It's like everyone's like, "Why are the players dumping the puck?" Well, because Berube's back there yelling at them to do it.
Well, there's something else they've done this season, a lot of, that I think is causing all the problems in the offensive zone. Has anybody noticed something that they've done almost every game in the offensive zone? It happens all the time on rushes or on entries, not rushes, entries.
Pass back.
Close. You're close. They do something and it's at a certain point on the ice all the time. In fact, it's almost every time on an entry, not a rush, but an entry. They stop at the top of the circle, spin, and try and pass back or pass across. No, they don't dump. That's the thing. They don't dump. They bring it in, they get to the top of the circle, and then they stop. Well, the problem is the other guys behind them aren't there into the play yet. This is where they need to be going deeper into the play to bring the puck back. Prime example of this, and I'm about to get shot by Ashley because I'm going to bring a Tarasenko moment up, but I think you know what moment I'm going to bring up. Do you know what moment I'm going to bring up?
I think so, but go ahead.
Game 7, Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay.
Is that the moment you were thinking of?
Yeah.
What did Tarasenko do? He took 2 top quality defenders all the way down to the bottom of the circle. If he'd have turned at the top of the circle, no way he catches Shen coming in. You've got to get that puck down to the goal line. If you don't get that puck down that deep, you're not giving your teammates enough time to get in the zone. Shockey, you play the game. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, that's a couple of laps right there.
It's what?
That's a couple of laps right there. Let's get in the zone 5 feet and make a 6 foot backwards pass. They do a lot of that.
All right. You're right. I'm not living in 2019. I'm just saying that the plays that we were doing then were effective. The plays that we're doing now are not effective. That's what I'm saying. Yes, I'm not living in 2019. I'm talking about this bad type of play that happens over and over again.
It's not Berube. He won us the cup. Yeah, who's living in 2019?
Ashley, you see this?
Mm-hmm. Ryan knows me well.
Am I wrong, though? Am I wrong?
No.
Right? I mean, that's the thing. If I'm wrong, great. Shoot me down. Kill me. Come up and tell me how fucked up I am. That's fine. But I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm nailing it on the head. The problems that we're seeing, while everyone wants to put it on the coach or on Armstrong, or not the coach, on the players or Armstrong, all these things that I'm seeing are coaching issues. And I stood there.
I'm not denying that there are coaching issues. I'm not denying that. I'm saying that the issues are everywhere and that you can't just pinpoint one thing. It's a whole slew of things making a perfect storm of stupid shit.
That's fair, but if the coach just changed a few little things in his strategy, if he
I don't
noticed
think
what
we
was
can even
being
do
wrong,
that anymore. I don't even think that would work because he's lost the players.
You know what? I go back to the Thomas comment about the message. If he changed the message, they would listen. Change the message.
I don't think that they would because it would just add to the confusion. I think we're at a point that the coach will not be effective no matter what he does anymore.
Actually, you see this?
I think that Ryan knows me very well.
No, Wendy's the one that's keeping his mouth shut. I want to know what Wendy's opinion on this.
Lance is with me.
I've seen it. Wendy?
I know what you're talking about, and it feels like I would just say this. St. Louis has shot themselves in the foot, and they're going to overcompensate by keeping Berube around and not listen and see his coaching strategy is done. It doesn't work, and it's caused that team to basically crash and burn. And it will lead to constant failure each and every year if he's still behind the bench for you guys. That's why I celebrated last year when the Blackhawks finally fired Jeremy Colleton with a bottle of champagne. I popped that when he got fired.
Yeah, and this is why I talk about the Berube blinders, right? The majority of the fan base, right, will sit there and tell you he won us the cup. He's a great coach. He can't do anything wrong. And that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing the exact opposite. In fact, all this stuff with Tarasenko. Tarasenko has come out and even said, I mean, he's had arguments, or he stood up to Berube on the ice. On the ice. Absolutely obvious. He's done it. And when we're still going, I don't see that. I don't see that. No. That's bad Vladdy. Right? Look, Bob, I get it. Okay? I get it. I understand that you put more on the players. But tell me, here's my thing. This is why I have so much struggle putting it on the players. Tell me that we don't have the talent on this team right now, when healthy, to compete for a cup. We have the talent on this team right now, when healthy, to compete for a cup. We
No,
have
you
the
don't.
talent. Say again?
No, you don't.
This is basically the same team that took Colorado to 6 games and almost 7. The only one that gave them a series.
It's still the team's a year older, and they have frankly shown for the last 3 years they can't make it out of the second round of the playoffs. And with the fact that you guys have a head coach who's stuck in his own ways, you guys will never have the talent to go back to a cup final how it sets up. They need to retool.
Lance says we have the talent to be successful in the playoffs, but not the cup. I disagree. I think that we have the cup talent. I really do. Bennington doesn't go down. That series goes 7 games, or the Blues win it in 6. Now, do they beat Edmonton? That I don't know. Because I don't think Colorado beat Edmonton. I think the refs beat Edmonton. But I'm sorry. And okay, what pieces are we missing?
Vegas, I have to disagree with you. Our defense actually has potential to be good if we could get healthy. If we had, please don't shoot daggers at me, but if we had Scandella and, Krug didn't get hurt, we had our solid team, our defense is fine.
I think our defense is fine if the forwards would help out on defense more.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah. Lance is asking, Chris, do you think we have the talent to win a cup?
With the players we have right now, no.
Saying no injuries. Let's say no injuries.
No injuries. Everything would have to set up just right, who you're playing, what time you're playing them. I think in 19 it was mostly that, who we played, what time we played them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it played into it a lot.
But Marianne went back and talked about the whole taking the perfect shot and passing.
Yeah, I seen that earlier.
That's another Berube thing. Tell them we need to look for the best shot possible, not taking every shot possible.
Now here's Justin or Vegas. This is you buying into the media or buying into the narrative. Scandella is a hell of a lot better than people give him credit for, and I wish I still had that article. I wish I wouldn't have gotten my website stolen from me and had that article, or if I could find where I wrote it. I don't think I have it. But Scandella is a lot better than people give him credit for. A lot better. Ash?
Scandella is not the perfect defenseman, and he is still my least favorite that we have. But he still has more talent in him than Mikkola, who still makes a lot of young, dumb mistakes. And he's better than Rosen. So he can be the worst of the top 6 that play, but he's still better than the other options.
He's positionally sound, and that's something we're missing right now.
No, he's not positionally sound, but he gives maximum effort. If he is used correctly, he is positionally sound. When we put him on the top line with Parayko, he's playing too many minutes and then he loses it. If we keep him in the second, third line, he's fine.
This is on Berube. He doesn't want the team taking shots, just so-called good chances. He has lost. Every coach I've ever had told my teammates to put the puck on the net, period. And we've heard Berube time and time again say, they're not taking good. When they take 30 shots and they're not taking good shots. But then when they take 20 shots and they're all good, but they don't go in there, they're not taking enough shots.
And Ryan, I agree. I agree that Mikkola is going to be great. There was a reason why I said he's making a lot of young mistakes. He will get there, but at this time, Scandella would be a better option if he was healthy.
Okay, fair enough, Vegas. Fair enough, and that's fine. I know maybe not the media, but the fan base The fan base gets on Scandella a lot worse than what he is, in my opinion.
I fairly get on to Scandella. I will state when he has a good game. I still don't like him.
I got kicked out of everything Blues over Scandella. Right? So, that is a good point. That's a good point. That is a good point, David. Golf King says, no, we don't. Are you like getting me from behind there, Golf King? I don't know what you're saying. No, we don't to. Sometimes the majority could be right, guy. You know what? I disagree with that. I absolutely disagree with that. I absolutely disagree with that. The majority, just because 99 people think something is right and one person thinks it's wrong, doesn't make it right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If 99 people think it's okay to steal $1 of gas and one person doesn't, does it make it right? That's the thing. Oh, you're the one who said trading for. Oh, that's right, Golf King. I forgot about that for a second. Now I know what he's talking about.
I agreed with you, Golf King. I did.
I love Golf King. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Just for you, Golf King.
All right. Here's another one. Oh my God, Scandella's the worst fucking defenseman, and I'm sorry, I'm going off. I'm pissed. I'm so sick and tired here. Scandella's so fucking bad. He can't play worth a shit. Fucking trade Scandella for a goddamn bag of pucks right the fuck now. It don't work that way, people.
There you go. But that's it doesn't matter what question. Okay, Marianne, go fire. We'll wait for Marianne's question. That's what I'm trying to get at. Just because the majority thinks something's right doesn't mean it's right. And it's a Tarasenko thing. I love you guys, even Nick, but I have a chip on my shoulder about the Blackhawks thing. I'm hoping that people understand sooner or later that they're going to change that culture. Do you see that, Nick?
I'm trying to figure out what are you trying to say here?
He's trying to say that what happened with the Kyle Beach, that's still weighing heavily on him.
Lot of that.
Huh?
They've really changed already a lot of it because they've apparently are very active in the player, like the NHL front, like the way they are already handled some stuff like that had similar situations. Like Rockford had a case where equipment manager ended up getting fired for similar situation immediately after the case happened.
Marianne's question is up. I'm going to go first on this. Okay. I think I'm going to take the basic route and say that I would do Parayko, Leddy, Falk, Krug, and then ideally Scandella would be healthy and you'd rotate him between Bortuzzo and Mikkola. Just have them kind of rotate.
Yeah, she says, and she does say this if they were completely healthy.
Yeah, so I would have Scandella in the bottom pairing with a rotation of Bortuzzo or Mikkola depending on what we needed.
Shockey?
Yeah, same. I mean, you could trade Rosen in there every once in a while if we need an offensive game.
Yeah.
Wendy, do you have an opinion on this?
I really don't.
Well, I would go Letty Falk on the top pairing, Krug and Scandella second, and then Parayko with a mix on the third. I would demote Parayko all the way to the third until he gets tough, until he figures out how to either A, use that shot, B, get tough, or C, be harder on the puck so he doesn't create all the problems that he creates. It's no longer, I'm no longer with him being there, right? I don't know if I want to deal with this question. I talked about it once already. But that's why I think that Parayko needs that drop, and he needs it for enough games to prove that he belongs on that top line, right? Krug and Scandella is not going to be worse than Parayko and anybody on the top line doing 25 minutes a game. Right?
I just don't like Falk and Krug together, like for multiple minutes, like heavy minutes, because they're both the smaller guys on the pairings.
But they play so well together.
And the league is changing to speed. Let that smallness get in there. Move the puck. Be puck handlers. Move that puck. Get it through the neutral zone. Get it out. Get it in, take it into the zone and don't stop at the circle. Take it in deep and then pass it out. Move stuff around. That's what I want. I want puck handlers. Not guys that are going to give the puck away and pass it into traffic. That's what I want.
But then again, that's a reason not to have them together and split them up to another pairing. So you at least have one of them helping out with that.
You know what? This is a great question, and it's the Berube blinders. The cup. It's the cup. If we don't win that cup, Berube is not coaching this team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
So someone had a point earlier on Facebook. It's like, we can't get rid of Berube just for that coach bump that, never ever works. I'm like, well, it did work in 2019. We fired Yo and got the coaching bump from Berube.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it ain't going. It might be too late now.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But still, you still get a bump from the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think coaches should stick around for more than 4 years.
Okay, they dump the puck constantly. That's the coaching. That's the coaching style. I'm looking at my pairings with the right coaching style that's changing what these guys are doing, so they're doing the things that they succeed at. Right? I want them to do the things that they succeed at. Kyrou is not a two-way forward. I don't want him trying to be a two-way forward. I want him finding the opening. I want him moving around. I want him getting around the net. I want him in the circle. I want him to get that one-timer ready. Tarasenko, while he can be a two-way forward, I want him finding that hole. I want him getting past. He's a hell of a passer. I want him taking that puck in deep and passing it out to an open guy. I want them to do the things that they do to be successful. Parayko has a hell of a shot. If he fires it at the net, I want Parayko to fire it at the net. I want to find Parayko $10,000 every time he misses the net. Right?
I think that missing the net is the point. I think that he's shooting to miss the net so it ricochets off the boards and has a rebound out.
Yeah, that's great, but no blue is in front of the net to do anything, or there's three of them and one blue, so there's no way the blue isn't going to get it. It's going to get it. So we've scored the least amount of dirty goals in the league. I'm almost sure. I don't know that for a fact, but it feels that way. It feels that way to me. Okay, Ash. I hope you had a good show. I hope you enjoyed being on the show tonight.
Sure did. Missed you guys.
Thank you, Ashley. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Well, see, and again, this is what I keep coming back to. Oh, did you see this one? There you go, Bob. That's for you.
I got a video for him.
Berube was brought in to make a big, bad team and mean enough to win the cup, but we no longer have that roster. That absolutely. Kidding, of course. Look, I understand that this is not all on Berube. I get that. But what I see right now is a frustrated team that has told the coaching staff the message isn't working. Please change it. And the coaching staff saying no. Well, you know what? At this point, if the coaching staff is not willing to change the message, then the GM needs to change the message.
What's the most famous saying in sports? Can't trade the whole team, but you can fire the coach.
Yeah, right? You got to swallow your pride. I know you just signed him to a 3-year deal, but you got to swallow your pride because this is not working. Right? This is not working. Well, thank you, Vegas. I appreciate it, man. Maybe we'll have some good numbers today. I don't know. Tomorrow is the All-Star Skills Competition. I plan on being on for that. I wanted to ask, and one of the questions I wanted to get into, and I don't know if we have time for it, and if you guys want to stick around, we can. What would you do to make the All-Star Game or the Skills Competition better? Right? I mean, we can talk about it tomorrow during the skills competition, but I have a couple of ideas that would make it better. One of my ideas is for the skills, don't just have the all-stars do it. For the hardest shot, have the guys out there, even if they don't make the all-star team, like Parayko. Parayko's got one of the hardest shots in the league. Have him in the hardest shot contest. Right? Bring guys in like you did last year. They brought in Zegras, who wasn't on the team, to play in the, what do you call it? The
breakaway.
The breakaway challenge. Right?
Well, I don't think Colton has the hardest slap shot anymore after his back injury, but
he's still in. I think he can. I think he can hit. He can hit triple figures.
Personally, I would just say just get rid of the All-Star Game in entirety, and just do a skills weekend where you have different players throughout the league come in and do different skills contests. Like with the hardest shot, you have throw in the retired players, have alumni versus current players in a skills competition.
Oh, that's not a bad. I like that.
Have alumni versus current players in skills competition for 1 week, like 1 weekend. Get away with the stupid All-Star Game. In my opinion, the All-Star Game's a joke. It's been a joke for years. And it seems like the players don't care about even attending the All-Star Game, if you think about it. And just have it as a skills competition weekend where you have it where alumni versus current NHLers.
I'll tell you one thing that I'd like to see, and I think this would change this. There's one thing that they could do that would really change the All-Star Weekend in and of itself. Have it as an outdoor game.
Yeah.
Have it as an outdoor game. Have it as an outdoor game. And not only that, have it as an outdoor game where you have 2 rinks and do a round-robin tournament over the weekend. Have Central Pacific, the Central Pacific, Metropolitan, Atlantic, and then an all-star Team USA female team and an all-star Team USA Canada team, or if you don't want the females involved, have an all-star juniors team. Right, you know, guys that are getting ready for the draft, or AHL guys that have been in the NHL, come in and play round robin 3-on-3 tournament.
I think All-Star Games for physical. The NFL has the same problem, but it's a physical sport, and people don't want to go and do anything to get hurt during it. I mean, that's what I think.
The only thing nice out of the All-Star Game this year has been honestly the jerseys this year.
Yeah,
the reverse retros.
Yep.
Right. I do like the reverse retros. Jason Nichols says, I agree with that, but we have to remember in the All-Star game, players are there to have fun and try not to injure each other, so it's never going to seem like an actual game. And that's true.
That's why
true.
I said it the way I said it. Just do a skills competition throughout the weekend. The players seem to have more enjoyment with the skills competition versus the All-Star game in an entirety. The All-Star game, the players just go there. They have to play it, or if they don't, they're going to get suspended for one regular season game, which is the dumbest thing, if you ask me. I would just say, screw it. Just do the skills competition weekend and kill the All-Star game in an entirety. Have it against alumni versus current NHLers. I think that's probably the best way they could do a full All-Star weekend, because the Pro Bowl, I know, is no longer a football game. It's going to be like
flag football this weekend.
No, they aren't playing a game. It's going to be like flag football. It's going to be like it's no tackle football. They aren't playing like an actual football game for the Pro Bowl this year. They're doing a skills competition and playing like flag football.
I didn't like the drafting of the players. I didn't like that. When they were doing the drafting, I didn't like that.
So, quick question for this weekend. Is the NHLPA going to have a new head man?
Why?
They're looking at hiring the current the labor guy from Biden's administration to head up the Players Association, the union.
Union? I haven't heard about that. I'll have to go look that up.
I know they have been looking for a new player association like leader, just because I know the guy stepped down after all the Kyle Beach situation.
Yeah.
Well, they're kind of angry about the hard cap and all that too.
Mm-hmm.
The hard cap's not going away. The hard cap is not going away. Right? I think what should happen is the floor needs to go up. It needs to be a lot closer to the cap. Right? I mean, you look at what Buffalo did. What Buffalo did was ridiculous. Buffalo has 3 guys on their roster that cannot play. Cannot play. Just so they can be at the floor.
Arizona did that for years.
Right?
Hell, then there's
hardest hit. How would you do that? How would you do hardest hit?
No, I'm not saying hardest hit.
No, that's what Shaggy's saying.
Oh.
Adding hardest hit.
I wouldn't do that. That's just asking for...
so somebody get hurt.
Yeah.
Guy, Chris, do you think if we had different assistant coaches that could help? If we had somebody that was more offensive and was able to... We would need to have a coach somewhat along Montgomery, who was a former head coach that could get in Berube's ear to change things, but without having that style of coach right now. And you brought in McTavish. McTavish's a defensive coach, so all he's doing is
I think McTavish is a yes man to Berube.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Right? He's parroting Berube, so so who would you love to have as a coach? Maybe a former Blue. Man, right now, I wouldn't mind getting Boudreaux in there. I'm back. I'm back to Q. I'd like to see Q come back. I think that this team. I don't know, man. I'd like to see this because, this is a skilled team, and what he can do with skilled players.
Coach Q is not coming back to the NHL.
You don't think so? You think he's done?
He's pretty much blacklisted after him being part of the Kyle Beach situation.
Well, I mean, they kind of made it like when he wanted, because he resigned, and then the NHL had a meeting with him, and they basically said, I think, and then, we don't know what they told him, but basically, if he wants to coach again, he's got to come back to the NHL to be able to coach.
He has to go to Gary Bettman to be able to. And I think at this point, Coach Q is never coming back to coach in the NHL. If he wanted a coaching job, it's probably on the KHL.
Boudreaux would be good, maybe. I just either that or go the AHL route. Bring in someone that's closer to these guys that understands them. But this is a team that has skill. That's just not allowed to use it.
I said that the other night, and you're like, no, ought.
Well, yeah, I'm still on Ott. I'm just trying, to throw some options out there.
Ott was known for being a goon in the NHL. Why think he
was putting up goals his first few years. He went to goon as he got older, but he's more of an offensive guy than anybody else we've got right now.
I don't think he was a goon. He just chirped a lot.
He was a goon on Buffalo and Dallas, and those were earlier parts of his career. Buffalo on the back end, but he was known for being a goon when he was with Dallas, and that was like early in his career.
Yeah, we went to the finals in the AHL last season. Yes, we did. This season, I haven't looked at the AHL standings, but just from following Springfield. Yeah, I don't think they're in a playoff spot, are they?
No, they don't. I've been keeping an eye on the AHL pretty well since the Ice Hogs for reasons. Yeah, Thunderbirds are terrible, and both the teams who made it to the Calder Cup final last year suck. The Chicago Wolves are one of the worst teams in the AHL. Same with the Thunderbirds, and that's how it really is.
This isn't a bad suggestion here. It isn't, right? It makes sense. I understand what he's saying, but I don't think Hull's ready to coach. I don't think Hull will ever coach. I'll tell you who I'd like to see get another chance at coaching that I don't think he would, but I think if he could come in today's game now and coach, he might be successful, would be Gretzky.
No.
All right, no. You don't think so?
Definitely not.
I don't like superstar coaches. I hate it. Never works out.
Yeah. Look at Patrick Waugh. He was a failure with the Avalanche. Granted, he won a division for one season, but then after that, he sucked with the Avalanche.
Well, wasn't he also the GM?
No. Sakic was.
I think
I thought he double did it there.
Nope. You don't see that in the NHL anymore. The last head coach to actually be a GM/head coach, that would have been Mike Keenan with the Vancouver Canucks.
Is that after the Blues?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Great show, man. Great show tonight. Good topics. I think we hit a lot of good things. We covered a lot of things. Chris, thanks for showing up, man. You've been a welcome addition to the show. Wendy, thanks for coming on. I know you might said you might come in for the skills, right?
I don't know.
Okay. And then Shockey, you're on for All-Star Game?
Yeah. I'll make fun of it.
Earlier, 10, 11, 12, 1. I think it's 2 your time.
2 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah. Blues seem to have shown more interest in Puljujärvi.
Jesse Puljujärvi. He's a bust. You guys don't really want him. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm kind of with that too.
The work ethic with Puljujärvi is very lackluster.
Yeah. See, I disagree with this. He said, next, with the goalie pull, there's nothing wrong with pulling a goalie early, but you can't pull a goalie based on time on the clock. You have to pull the goalie based on the situation. If you're at 4 minutes left and you're down by 2 and you want to pull the goalie and it's a face-off in the offensive zone, to me, you don't pull the goalie yet. You have him come up to right at the top of the circles.
Here's what I see. Someone dumps the puck from the red line without any puck control, and that's when he pulls it. It's like, we just dumped the puck. We don't have the puck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no puck control. You have to have puck control, or you get the goalie up to there. I mean, you win the face-off while you're setting up your cycle. He runs off. Then another guy comes in, and by the time you have your cycles, he's coming in for hopefully, streaking in to find a open spot to bury it.
You got to win a face-off first.
Yeah, but you wait. That's why you don't pull him until you have that face-off.
I wonder if Jason's also talking about the fact that Patrick Wall pulled Varlamov with 12 minutes remaining on the clock.
Yeah. That's what he's talking about.
I'm pretty sure that's what he might be talking about, because that's a little bit ridiculous, especially if you're down by 1 goal.
He would pull. Well, Patrick was the one that started pulling the goalie when you were down by 2.
Not really.
I think so.
No.
That's
been going on forever. Patrick Waugh was pulling goalies with like 12 minutes, 7 minutes remaining on the clock. He was pulling the goalies way too early in games. In comparison to being down by 2 goals, that's been a normal thing for a while for pulling a goalie. That was way before Patrick Waugh was a head coach.
Okay, I have to think about. I have to go check, but I thought that was one of the things. Blues should be buyers, if not for injuries, then bad coaching. Yeah, I agree there. I agree there. Well, wow, an hour and 16 minutes. I didn't think I'd get 30 minutes today. Guys, thanks for a great show, man. We'll see you tomorrow. I want to thank Wendy from Windy City Hockey and my buddy from the St. Louis Blues Warriors hockey program, Chris Shockey. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. This is the Blue Note Fan Report, and you got to know, just like the boys say,
Hawaii Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go, Blues! Let's go, Blues! Let's go, Blues!
Let's
go, Blues.
Let's go, Blues.
Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying, you got to know that I'm bleeding blue with you. And until next time, I'll see you on the Blue Note Fan Report.